Okay, so welcome to creating a new love in your body. So I just had to organize the puppy who was alerting me to something. So today when we're looking at how do you speak to your body, some of the things that have come up in terms of the way that you listen to your body is the words and the language that constantly you're using either with others or with the way that you might feel if your body has gained weight or if your body has changed shape or if your body is not feeling as healthy as you would like. So these times in our life, especially if you're a woman, when the body goes through change, it's a very natural change. And it's also a time when we get to really hear and see what's going on with our language about our body. Because as most of us are aware, the media has created quite a strong voice in our consciousness as a society and personally about what a body should look like and what it should appear to be. So a lot of the media and how it has programmed our own thinking is what the appearance of the body should be on an external way. So when we're creating a new love in our body, we need to go back into the inside and feel what it could be like to have a really deep bond with our body, or a new feeling of appreciation, of just experiencing the body, of enjoying the body, of sensing, exploring, experiencing the body. And that can be really challenging if you've got strong programming or conditioning about how the body should look like. So today when we're talking about creating a new love, we're looking at the language. And in order to understand how language forms in relation to the body, let's look at where language comes from. And there's a couple of places. It's developed from human history. It's also positioned and created in our brain. So from a human history point of view, language was created to help us work together. So other animals don't have language. Other animals have ways of communicating through song, through their voice, through sounds, through pitch, through growls, through different tones. Whales have a certain sonar resonance. So humans developed language because we realized that with exchange, we could maybe get something more. So we could maybe fight different animals and survive better, or we could actually hunt and find food better together. So language became a way to explain things and a way to gather food and hunt for food better, and then eventually grow food as well. Language was a tool of working together. And now in our society, it's become a tool of also controlling others and manipulating others as well. So language is a double-edged sword, as some people have said in history, and it can be used for good and it can be used for manipulating things that aren't so beneficial to you personally. There's always a purpose for human karma and creation that language is used negatively. So the whole point of love is that you actually have that deeper connection to yourself. So if you're thinking about love as a way that community came together and we built certain ways of working together better, language is always going to be about your personal journey, how you become more connected to yourself in order to enhance that community and serve that community. So the more we speak better to ourselves, the more we're going to have more harmony in that community and move forward as a group. If as a group we have infighting, then the purpose of the language from the start was to create harmony so we could survive better. If that language is used destructively, as it can be from the media, then the group actually crumbles from inside. It doesn't support the individuals. So historically, language was for harmony in community and moving the community forward. So language in the brain then has been programmed much more in the top parts of the brain. So if you've got your hands on your head, like me, that's where language is formulated. It's when from early childhood we start developing words and pictures. So it sits on top of the emotional brain. And in I Love Mondays and all of the videos I do here, I talk a lot about that emotional brain, which is much older than language and thought. The emotional brain worked in images and was directly connected and is directly connected to the nervous system. So language is where we create the meaning of all those images. And then we start developing thoughts and belief systems and patterns. And then as a result, we create certain habits based on certain thought. So if we look at other animals, their DNA is much more direct. They're programmed. They certainly have an emotional brain. And if they have an experience where they eat something bad or someone treats them badly, they remember that. But they don't actually then build on top of it with language. They certainly remember in their emotional brain, as most of you know who have pets, and how they remember things that they don't like and have aversion to certain people or certain places or the vet. But the language that then reinforces that belief isn't there. So the purpose of language in love is to really create new possibility, positive language, language that lights you up, literally lights up your energy field. So if in your brain is words and language there that comes from society's concept of the body or comes from your parents' concept of the body, you have to hear it. And then you can start to change that habit. Without any awareness about the language, you're actually not seeing how it affects your life. It goes unconscious, it goes unheard, and it sits in your top part of the brain and it's fed by the emotional brain, which maybe had a negative experience, or maybe you're remembering or carrying your family's negative experience with love and language. Maybe your family argued a lot. Maybe while you're in your mother's belly, she was experiencing a lot of words that weren't positive, or she was stressed and then was saying and thinking things in her head. So these are the languages that we take on very unconsciously. And especially if you grew up in a culture, even beyond the unconscious, it's like the collective unconscious that you're picking up. You're conditioned by that culture. So that language is extremely powerful, remembering that culturally, community-wise, language is formed and developed to help the community move forward. And now language has become something that's much more about also creating creative understanding of who that culture is. So if you look at cultures across the planet and how they dance and create songs and music and story, this is a way that culture has used language to keep the culture moving forward and be creative. But also it can be destructive as well. So the tendency with language and the body, because of past old habits of shame and thinking the body was somehow primitive and less, and understanding that as humanity has treated the body poorly, or other people's bodies, or disrespected other people's bodies, the tendency has been to focus on negative aspects of language and the body. And when we hear love poems and love stories and poetry that worships the body, we're definitely moved and open. But as a community as a whole, at this point of civilization, we're really kind of focusing on a lot of really negative interpretations of language with the body. Why is that? Because, as I mentioned before, it's time to hear our unconscious negative thinking, so that now we can actually say, hang on, do I want that? Is that really love for me? And to actually begin to question how much control or choice or power do I have to create a new language of love, or a new way of being with my body, or a new way of talking to my body. That is the biggest gift at this time, where we see a lot of negative things in general. And, you know, bad news is always a lot more attractive to media outlets. And it's like watching a train wreck. We all seem to gravitate to negative news. Positive news, while uplifting, is something that you'll find on the social media. People are gravitating to positive news and positive words on the social media. Why? Because our soul craves it, our bodies crave it, our minds crave it, and our emotional brain is naturally wired to find pleasure. So as much as you'll see that collective consciousness out there spewing forth words that are saying you should be this, or you need to do this, or you must buy that, that is actually just a part of people attempting to find a way to come back to a much more positive way of being with their body. So the whole marketing industry is based on somehow we've got a sense of lack, somehow we're missing something, we need something. But also there's a lot of push towards finding ways of drawing us to something that's a lot more empowered, as you'll see through coaching or through other new age services or personal development or growth or yoga. All of these industries now are starting to show that we are aspiring to loving our bodies and experiencing our lives and our physical bodies beyond all of that programming that's been generated from more recent civilizations. So then language, your language, as we move towards the next year, 2016, creating new love in your body is really about anchoring habits, desires, dreams, and feelings that you wish to really bring into your body. So love is always combined with a sense of possibility. It's not about avoiding or running away from things that don't feel good, but it has to be always about pulling us to something we really desire and dream about. And so for some of us, and this is very much because of society's opinion about love or experience of high divorce rate and breakups of relationship, for some of us there's that sense that we can't really get that dream of love. The world can't really be an empowered place. And this is very confusing for the body, because the body really just wants to feel good. It wants to, if something doesn't feel good, it certainly wants to avoid it, because it doesn't want to, but it's learning when things don't feel good. And because we have different parts of us that are higher or more higher functioning brain and emotions, we also want to learn how to resolve things that don't feel good, or understand them, or somehow just accept them in our life and learn how to feel good in spite of those, or because of those, because we've learnt something from that. So that's our ability to grow from experiences that don't feel good. So if you have beliefs that you don't deserve that love, I'm not good enough to experience the love I truly desire, I might stuff up in this relationship, I might not be able to please that person, I might let them down, I might not be able to truly be accepted by this person. Just understand that a lot of what you're thinking comes from your culture. And it's very hard when you're so stuck in your physical body, in your emotional brain, and maybe negative experiences that you've had, to think that those ideas come from outside of you. However, if you look at the roots of language, it came from communicating in a group. So naturally, someone has some sort of thought form, and you're going to start buying into that. That's how marketing works. It started from our first communications to try and hunt better, gather food better, and survive as a group better, and outlast the bigger mammals than us. At that point, thought form became something outside of your brain and became something that you bought into. You said, oh, well, that must be my thought. But actually, a lot of your thoughts are not yours. They're something that the group has created in order for us to avoid certain situations or to process emotions that we didn't know how to process them. So at that point, if you're experiencing doubt, it's your job and your only job to see the doubt or the story or the feeling that I shouldn't be deserving of this love, or it's not going to be for me, it's going to be for someone else, and start to create a language that says it's okay to feel that way. but I really, really want to light up my body. I really want to find a way to enjoy my body. Some language that's really simple, that just tells your nervous system, which is always seeking love and pleasure, that they can get it if they want it. And I'm not even saying if you want it enough. It's as simple as, if that body wants pleasure, and I'm not talking about addiction or drugs or shopping or other sorts of distractions like television and quick pleasure. I'm talking about love that's deeply satisfying. If you want it and you actually focus on it with your language, you will actually magnetize and draw it to you, or you will start to focus on that externally and to seek it and create behaviors that support it. As soon as you have a doubt or a fear, and you go, oh my God, I'm having a doubt or a fear, and look at me, I'm such a negative person, you start to then repeat that same pattern. But as soon as you just sort of acknowledge it and go, wow, I've got some really, doubts here, and say, that's okay, and now what do I really want? So I'm going to offer you today a few simple words, and I encourage you, when you're doing any connecting work to yourself, to ask your body, and then we'll do that in the connection exercise, the meditation, what are the words that lights it up? And then if you do any work like vision boards or affirmations or anything like stick positive quotes on your workplace or in the bathroom, then I'm suggesting that after discussing or feeling into your body and asking your body what are the words that light it up, that you make them part of your mantras. You make them part of the way you begin to, in the morning, wake up and talk to your body. And if it doesn't feel authentic, the whole idea is to keep calling and talking to your body and saying, what's going on here? Why can't I connect to the language? And it may be just not, you don't need to do it every day. Maybe you just do it once when you're really feeling that bond with the language. Or you may need to be doing some other activity or feeling some music with the words. You may need to find the right way for your body to experience language that lights it up. So this is why we love pop songs and love songs and classical music or different experiences in nature, because they actually give us that feeling that then allows the words to feel more about what that connection that we want. So language, while it can be a few words that light you up, you may need to also explore what's the environment, context, or way your body needs to first feel relaxed or connected before the words actually feel authentic. In my case, I used to need to go for a walk, be in nature, dance, do some physical exercise, something to connect to language before I could feel peaceful. And that was because my brain was so busy and nervous and full of a lot of doubt, anxiety, panic, fear of not pleasing others. And I couldn't stop that motor from running and running until I had actually felt connected physically with my body and felt my creative juices flowing. That's shifted for me. So at that point when it shifted, I had to continually ask my body, what's going on? What do you need now? So the new love in your body is always about being in relationship. So being in relationship truly means understanding that you're changing. You're not the same person that you were when you were 4 years old, or when you were 14 years old, or when you were 24 years old. You're constantly changing. So being in relationship is honoring that change and being curious and asking, what are you feeling now? What are you feeling today? What do you need now? And these are the questions to ask your body. So in the connection meditation, we're going to do just that and seek those words that light you up, no matter what everybody else is saying or the thought forms that are out there. We're looking for what lights your body up. So begin by getting comfortable with where you're sitting and feeling into the breath. And if you can close your eyes, just notice right now, what are the rhythms in your body. Before I mentioned the rhythm of my brain and anxiety, fear is what others were thinking or wanted from me, or of pleasing others. So that creates a rhythm in the brain. And you can check also the rhythm around the heart center itself. Your breath is a very big signal of the rhythm around the heart, which is also connected to the lungs. So you may notice, for some of you, a lot of energy around the heart, a lot of energy around the brain. Then go to that third organ center down around the belly button, either above the belly button, below the belly button, or the whole lot of the belly, below and above the belly button. And just feel the rhythms there. And then bring your awareness now to the feet. So in a couple of countries, the feet are called, forgive my language here of different cultures, but it's patas, I think, in Spanish. And in India, you have padaka for the feet of the divine, pada. So feel the pada, the rhythm of that pada, of the 2 feet. When they're still, you don't have that rhythm of walking, but see if you can just feel a vibration between the feet and the earth, or the ground below you, that rhythm right between that surface where your feet are touching and the bottom of the foot itself, pada. So it's like a pulse goes right down to the bottom of the feet, and then it reverberates all the way back up to the heart itself. Blood flow goes down to the feet, then it comes all the way back to the heart. That's why walking is so productive for flow, for reinvigorating blood into the body and recirculating blood that no longer has that oxygen. And it's a wonderful cycle that connects us to anchor into the earth and then bring the energy from the earth back up to the heart itself. It's such a beautiful way that gravity works with the blood flow. But often when you have too much energy in the brain, and that if you have anxieties and thought forms that are not so positive, that can create just a rhythm, busyness in the brain, because you're literally holding onto these thought forms that aren't really you, they're not supportive of your body, and they're not really joyful, so they're not you. And that takes the energy into the brain and keeps it vibrating or circulating there. So as soon as you bring your awareness to the bottom of the feet and feel that rhythm, pada, 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 of the blood flow in the feet, you can automatically start to enliven and move energy down into the lower part of your body. So at this stage, because your body is a extension and expression of nature itself, as you breathe down into the feet, you can imagine that you're actually giving thanks to nature, to the earth, for supporting you and for giving you this ability to walk on the earth and experience it. So whatever form of gratitude you have for the earth itself and nature, for giving you this ability to come to life, to come to this body. You can visualize the energy extending down the feet into earth and just ask to experience that gratitude for your body. And then any time that you extend down into the earth always can feed you or give you something that your body craves right now. It could be a mineral, it could be just a feeling, it could be an experience of lightness or whatever you would desire. So you can ask the earth to give you whatever it is that your body requires right now from the earth or can receive from the earth right now. It could be a picture or an image or just a feeling or sensation in the body. even an opening in the heart center. So coming to your heart center, you can visualize in the heart center a golden light. And breathe into that golden light in the heart center. And here in the golden light, we're asking to feel what it is that lights up your body. So simply breathe into the golden light and ask to feel what lights up your body. You can visualize that light feeding and transmitting and expanding into the physical body and the aura, circle of energy around your body. And now connect to what your body truly desires to experience. What is it that your body truly desires to experience that gives it joy, pleasure, and a feeling of deep fulfillment? And ask your body to give you or show you the words that literally light it up. What are those words that light up your body? Give thanks to your body and ask your body to simply receive those words whenever it needs to feel this connection to what it desires, to what it truly loves and wants to experience more in love. And know that your body at any time is waiting for you to simply ask what it needs or desires. When you're ready, breathe into the heart center. And then from the top of your head, visualize your energy grounding all the way down your spine and into your feet and into the earth. So thank you for joining, creating a new love in your body and finding those words to light you up. I hope you can experience that light more in your body. And I know that when you are playing with the language, you can experience quite a range of emotions or feelings. So we're going to explore that more about how to move energy through the body. And in 2016, I'm also doing a new class on welcoming the new energy body. Our bodies are physically changing, and the energy or light is also being asked to shift in the way that it's received, perceived, and held in our physical bodies and the aura. So the class I'm doing is to anchor that new energy body, and it's very important to understand how light is something that's not just a imagination exercise, but it's actually an energy that can be transmitted and absorbed by the physical body, and once it is absorbed, can be permanently anchored in the physical body. So our physical body will start to grow and shift and literally create a new level of being and of health and of experiencing pleasure and joy in the body. And if you have not made that connection already, the purpose of experience light in your body is to experience deep and true and endless or limitless joy. Light is literally the experience of your truest self and your highest self, which is joy. So a lot of this is really about anchoring those feelings from the spiritual level into that physical body. So join me for the other 2 episodes on creating a new love in your body to start anchoring more of that before we start the new year. Have a blessed week.